Hello, and welcome back everyone to yet another Coinsider live stream. In today's stream, we're going to be talking about the big question on all of our minds, and that is the bull market back? Are we back, baby? That's what we want to know. Chat, thank you for joining me. Let me know if you can hear me all right. Please, a quick mic check. And I'm going to do these streams a lot more. I did 4 this week. I'm going to try to do 4 or 5 next week as well. Same time every day. You don't even need to think about it. It's noon Eastern USA time. So if you like these streams where we kind of dig into various topics, then please join me at those times every day. I'll let you know in advance if I can't make a day, but I'll try to make every weekday. And also let me know what topics, areas, trends, sectors, news, what you want me to deep dive into in the future streams, and I will try to do that. Either type me in the chat or leave a comment here, or let me know in the Retail DAO Discord, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later if you don't know, if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's see. Okie dokie. So today we're going to talk about, is the bull market back? And we got to start with, wait one sec, I just got a notification. Okay, and we got to start with the quick look at the charts. So first and foremost, first and foremost, I am not a chart trader. I am not a technical analyst. I'm not trying to LARP as one. I'm not going to draw fancy lines or shit like that in the charts, okay? We're just looking at it for context, and we're going to look into different types of analysis today. From other analysts, we're going to take a look at a broad range of analysts, see what they have to say, see if they predicted this correctly, see what they have to say as to what's next. Are there some bearish points here that we may go back down, or that they may be a choppy period, right? We're going to take a look at all that. Usually I do leave timestamps for those of you watching afterwards, but today I'm not going to, because we're just going to look at a bunch of different points, a bunch of different metrics. So it's going to be like too many timestamps to like even make it make sense, you know? But anyhow, let's take a look at this. So this was a crazy move, wasn't it, guys? It pumped from the low 90s to like mid 100s in like a couple days. This was an insane move for BTC. And guess what was even more insane, though? Guess what was even more insane? ETH. ETH has a comeback, baby. Hey, type in the chat if you still believe in ETH. Honestly, I haven't believed in ETH for a while now, but I honestly believe that the bottom may be in for ETH and that it may be turning around. We're going to look at some deeper analysis here. I'm not just going to show you these two broad charts and be like, that's it. Obviously, no, or else I'd be wasting your time. But we're going to dig into a lot of different points. Let's see. Some of the chat. Trade Wolf says, final pump. A lot of analysts are saying that we're in the final phase of the cycle. Let's see if they're right. 160 to 180. That seems semi-possible. But yeah, we'll see. Crypto Chief still believes in ETH. The upgrade comings are massive. Ignoring prices during the dip to avoid depression. Glad to see we're above 100K. Bitcoin belongs above 100K, doesn't it? It's good. It feels good to see Bitcoin above. Life is good when Bitcoin is above 100K, isn't it, folks? All right. Let's take a look at some more interesting stuff. First of all, check this out. BTC is officially above Amazon on the top assets by market cap list. Gold is still over. It's like 11x from here. So that's quite a bit away. But can BTC flip NVIDIA, the top AI juggernaut, Apple, Microsoft? And then it has a ways to go until gold. But I honestly believe regular gold and digital gold belongs 1 and 2. And it may take BTC like a decade or two to actually reach gold, but we shall see. In our lifetime, it is possible unless some crazy stuff happens. What do y'all think? Do you think BTC to 1 million? Well, that would get it at gold's current market cap, wouldn't it? So within our lifetimes, I think, as to if it's anytime soon, this cycle, next cycle, the cycle after that, maybe. It's possible, folks. It's possible. Retail are slowly back. Exactly. The more people joining these streams, the more people watching are retail, because this stream is for retail investors who care about analysis and research and digging deeper than just looking at the latest news. Now, like I promised, we're going to touch into more detailed stuff, not just the high level stuff. So, some people are pointing out that there were 2 big short squeezes. There was a ton of liquidations, and that drove Bitcoin up above 97K in the first move and then 101K. So there were like so much liquidations. Let's take a look at liquidations chart. Bitcoin liquidations. 24 hours. Yeah, look at how much liquidations. Like even ETH, we saw that massive ETH pump. 1 billion wrecked in terms of leverage positions. So, and it was even more before this 24-hour period. But you know what some people were saying? All these negative funding rates over here. You see this period of all these negative funding rates, this group, people were like, okay, how do I zoom back out? Reset, double click. Okay, there we go. Okay, one sec. People were saying that all these negative funding rates usually precede an up move. And lo and behold, they were right. Everyone was shorting in this period. And now we got a massive pump that liquidated a bunch of the shorts. And the shorts were during this like sideways period too. So people were very nervous and bearish and just anticipating a downwards correction. But instead, the price went up instead. So that does often happen in history. When are a lot of shorts for a significant time period, they tend to get squeezed. And so there were 2 major squeezes as noted by Kyle here. Pure squeeze fuel. Bears tried to short again, a double top. Fortunately, I have not been shorting recently, but one other interesting thing to note, though, is that volatility has been declining. So this is not the type of FOMO-fueled move we saw in past cycles. This time, it's more controlled and more sustainable. And I love this guy's econometrics. I love his charts, by the way, and his graphics. So I think this needs to be updated, and it's probably a little bit more volatile now. But the point is, when Bitcoin rises slow and steady and with declining volatility, that means it's more sustainable and it's not just going to dump right back on us, right? Now, another question is, are we overheated? Are we near the top? Well, according to this metric, the MVRV Z-score, it's not high at all right now. This is overheated, folks. This red zone is overheated. We're not even close to that right now. So if you follow this metric, The point is there's a long way to go before we even get overheated, and that we don't have to worry about the cycle top being in. Now, what is MVRV Z-score? So this is a metric. This is a little bit too complicated to explain, but it's a metric using on-chain data to identify periods where Bitcoin is over or undervalued relative to its fair value. It's based on, instead of taking the current price, it's based on taking the price of each Bitcoin when it was last moved. So that gets an average price based on that, the time it was last moved. And it basically strips out the short-term market sentiment. It's a more true long-term measure of Bitcoin value. And so based on that, it can tell if the price is getting out of hand away from that true value, or it's close. And right now it's not overheated at all, right? Look, it's down here. The orange line is the MVRV Z-score. It's standardized. Z-score standardizes it if you know statistics. So yeah, point is, no worries about the top. But let me close some of these things. I gotta talk to y'all about the M2 versus Bitcoin correlation. I know a lot of analysts share this, and chat, let me know if you guys have seen these correlations on X. I'm sure a lot of the people you follow have been sharing them. This like global liquidity with a lag and Bitcoin's price. Have y'all seen this before? Yes or no? I'm pretty sure y'all have if you've been on X following people at all. And they're like, oh, global liquidity goes up. We introduce a lag and Bitcoin's price follows. This is easy as that. However, I really, really, really want to warn you about following this too closely. If you really study this in the past, yes, it has a decent correlation, but there are multiple periods in history where the M2 metric keeps going up when Bitcoin already starts to stall or go down. So this is very I really don't think you guys should just be like, oh, M2 goes up for like 4 more weeks and hence BTC has to go up for 4 more weeks. There have been notable periods of divergence before in history, and people argue, the smart analysts argue, that this metric may not be as useful as a leading indicator as you might imagine. For example, here's an analyst that I highly respect. Google Trends global M2 and Bitcoin is rocketing. Watch the disconnect between M2 and Bitcoin come back now that everyone is focused on it. I strongly agree. I do think there will be a disconnect between M2 and Bitcoin when M2 keeps going up perhaps and Bitcoin does not. When Bitcoin stalls or even goes down when M2 is still going up. So be very careful about just following this M2 metric blindly. Now, Ben Cohen has a very interesting thesis too. What if Bitcoin leads liquidity rather than lags it? A lot of people show this chart where they offset global M2 by 3 to 4 months and show BTC following it. The problem is, in 2021, this metric shows M2 going up for 6 months after BTC has topped. Folks, this would wreck you if this happens again. So please do not blindly follow this M2 metric, okay? I will come back in future streams and say, I told you so. If this M2 metric keeps going up when Bitcoin has already topped, okay? And in 2017, this offset shows M2 going up well after Bitcoin has topped. You see this? You see this? This is M2 still going up. BTC has topped and going down. You see? Don't say I didn't warn you. I strongly agree with these analysts. However, just because M2 may not be that reliable, there are other macro indicators that we can look at. For example, DXY, the dollar strength index. So put simply, if dollar is strong, then risk assets are weak. But if dollar strength goes down, then risk assets or other stuff denominated in USD goes up, like Bitcoin. Now, here's the thing. This analyst posits, what if we follow the same fractal for the first Trump administration in terms of DXY? In this case, showing that DXY would range for a bit and then go back down further. If that's the case, then this would be great for Bitcoin, right? Into Q3, maybe Q4. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. Not just blindly following the M2. But here's the thing. Some people didn't see this recent up move coming. Remember this? Ki Young Ju, the founder of CryptoQuant. It's like Glassnode. It's one of the top Bitcoin on-chain analytics companies out there, like visualization. He called in mid-March, like a little bit, like 1.5 months ago, that the Bitcoin bull cycle is over, expecting 6 to 12 months of bearish or sideways price action based on some of his signals. He said fresh liquidity drying up, new whales are selling Bitcoin at lower prices, shows a bunch of stuff. But obviously, that did not play out. Check this out. He wrote this long post just today, May 9th. 2 months ago, I said the bull cycle is over, but I was wrong. Bitcoin's sell pressure is easing and massive inflows are coming through ETFs. Now, why? Why did he say he was wrong? Well, he said the Bitcoin market was simple back in the day. The main players were whales, miners, and retail investors, passing the bags to each other. When they started cashing out, it was easy to predict a cycle peak. But now, the Bitcoin market is much more complex. There's ETFs, MicroStrategies, institutions, even government agencies. So he thinks it's time to throw out the cycle theory. And new sources of liquidity and volume are becoming much more uncertain and signaling a transition for Bitcoin. So this is very interesting, right? But he's still a little bit cautious. He says the market is still sluggish while absorbing new liquidity. Most indicators are hanging around the borderline. It doesn't feel like a clearly bullish or bearish market right now, which honestly, I do kind of agree. Like, I do feel more bullish, but it's still uncertain, right? Like, should we just go all in right now? It could drop back down. It could very well have a correction again. I do think we lean bullish, but is it just all like full steam ahead? I'm not sure, folks. I'm not sure. He even apologized for the incorrect prediction. And he's also defending on-chain data, which he kind of has to because his company is worthless if on-chain data is worthless. That's what I wouldn't only look at on-chain data, you know? It's like, yes, it can give you some ideas, but you also got to look at the charts. You got to look at macro data. You have to have a comprehensive, holistic view of the price action in markets, not just based on one indicator or things like that. Now, another thing I want to note is that even the best traders and analysts aren't always right. Like, look at this, Pentoshi. I'm sure a lot of y'all follow him. 860K followers. He said he was selling half of his Bitcoin bag under 91K. April 21st. This was a few weeks ago. He was clearly wrong. He said, look, he sold half. Clearly wrong. And then he kind of apologized about that later. He owned up to it, which I like to see. Where is it? Okay, I don't know where he posts that he owned up to it. But point is, even great traders and analysts aren't always right. So just because you find, let me take away the screen share. Folks, just because you find an analyst or trader that makes a brilliant call and gets something right, doesn't mean they're always going to be right. They are for sure, I will bet you money that they're going to be wrong in the future, even with big calls when they're super confident. No one has a 100% hit rate, or else they would be the luckiest person in the world. It's not even skill. It would be luck at that point, okay? Like, there's just nothing like that in history. They would have to be like Nostradamus. But anyways, let's see. We have some other interesting stuff. There were some people who did, even though Ki-Young-Ju and Pentoshi did not see this coming, there were some analysts that did see this coming. Now, like I said, just because they saw this coming doesn't mean they're going to get it always right in the future. But let me share my screen to show you. So Bitcoin data, in same time when Pentoshi was selling, he was getting bullish again at arguably the lows. He said the macro data is bottoming out just in time for people to turn bearish. Good job. Please stay bearish. Lo and behold, you see this macro composite. Let's see. One sec. I'm just searching something. Yeah, so this includes, if I'm not mistaken, this includes stuff like economic data, unemployment, etc., consumer sentiment. It was bottoming out, and then since then, the market is recovering quite a bit, right? So everyone just turned bearish when this was near its like low point. And here's another interesting thing. CryptoQuant, the company of Ki-Young-Ju I just shared with y'all. Wait, let me go back to here. They have a bull bear market cycle indicator. And here it is. You see these colors. Red is overheated bull. Orange is just bull. Blue is bear. Green is early bull. And blue is extreme bear. And right now, it's probably hard to see, but it's just flipped a tiny bit to bull mode. So after a period of bear, it hasn't been extreme bear or extreme bull, but it's a tiny bit of orange if you squint your eyes and look at this. So that is very interesting to see. But like he said, this is still in the borderline period. It could start to just kind of rocket, but it's in the early stages. It could still kind of dip a bit. Like New Frontiers is saying, until we confidently make new highs, we might still be in a sideways pattern for all we know. Very, very possible. That's why while I've deployed a little bit recently, I haven't like fully gone completely all in bull mode. Although, wait, actually, I'll share this later. Although it may behoove you to buy a little bit early, even when it still feels uncertain, than too late. Okay, let's see. Now, one thing I want to share with you is this chart. One sec. Okay. This, folks, is the chart of BTC dominance. It's gone up for so long. since like what? December 2024. This is December 2024. Up, 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 up. And now it's gone down quite a bit. Has like two huge down red candles for a mini alt season per se. And a lot of that is because Ethereum has been absolutely rocketing. Ethereum went up like 20% in one day, leaving everything in the dust, really. Let me just show y'all real quick. Right here, like Ethereum is up so much. Where are we? Right here. Ethereum is up way more, even up more than Solana, up more than all the other ones that are smaller than it. It usually never happens. But this is the catch-up trade for Ethereum. People are like, this has been undervalued for so long, and everyone's like shorting ETH. Everyone is bearish on ETH. At some point in the market, it's oversold and all the sellers are gone, and it's just diamond hands left. In which case, any bit of little buy pressure would send it rocketing, right? Now, let's talk about alt season. Are we going to see an alt season? Well, I do like that ETH is leading because, like I've said for a few months now, I do believe that ETH has to do well for an alt season to truly come back. If ETH struggles, if BTC dominance regains its highs and goes higher, we're not going to have an alt season, a broad-based alt season. Maybe pockets of outperformance here or there. But here is the altcoin season index. And when it's low in this orange zone, it's Bitcoin season. When it's high in this blue zone, it's altcoin season. So right now we're getting away from Bitcoin season for a little bit. Yeah, like you see in the past few days, we've gone up out of Bitcoin season, but we're not anywhere near true altcoin season yet, right? But things also don't last. Look right here, CMC altcoin season index. We're just out of strong Bitcoin season into a little bit less. Now, things don't last long in this pure altcoin season, like less than a month, I would say. So, yeah, I agree. I wouldn't want to be 100% in crash right now. The FOMO would be crazy. But I wouldn't go all in necessarily either. The risk reward is... I would start deploying, though. If you have a ton of cash on the sideline, I would start deploying. But I'd be a little bit more kind of patient with it. That's just my personal opinion. Now, here is something interesting. Top coins, performance over 90 days. Fartcoin, the funniest meme coin, did amazing. Virtuals, the top AI agents project, is having a comeback. If you're bullish on AI agents as a sector, Virtuals is a no-brainer. Pengu, they're making moves with Abstract. Sui just had their base camp. Tau with their like more OG AI project. Those all I like and would deploy into personally. Hype and BTC right next to each other. I love Hype. But there's some ones going down too, like a lot of these Dino coins. XRP, LTC. Dang, how are these going down? That's kind of embarrassing. Link. Oh, this must be... Oh, past 90 days. Okay, because ETH is also down here too. And even like Pi Network, this scam coin is down 58%, which is crazy. Let's look at it actually. Let's look at that. Oh, wow. Look at Pi Network. Down quite a bit, isn't it? Yeah, I zoomed out. So yeah, in terms of coins I'm looking at, a lot of those top ones, like, let's just thought experiment, okay? If the bull market's really back, what things would I deploy some into? Sol, of course, is always a good bet. It's like just captured a lot of retail mindshare, let's be honest. The king of memes. If a meme coin season has a comeback, I hope it doesn't, but if it does, Sol will benefit. Sui, of course, is the runner up in the Alt L1, in my opinion. Hyper Liquid, I like a lot. Athena or BitTensor Tau, I like too. Let's see. Trump, there's a thesis for, as long as they keep pumping it and using it for access to the president. Oh, here's Athena's coin. Okay. Sonic. I like Sonic a lot. They're innovating in the DeFi space. Previous Phantom. Jupiter. Fartcoin, of course. I wonder if Martin Shkreli got liquidated because he was shorting these like crazy. And now Fartcoin's above 1.3 billion. Virtuals, of course, I like. A lot of these other old dead ones. Yeah. Okay. I'll just stick to the top 100. But you know what else I am bullish on, folks? I am bullish on the retail DAO because this is a DAO that I'm a part of. I'm one of the early contributors for. And we are a token-gated Discord community for serious retail investors. I would love for you all to join it if you aren't already in it. Hey, chat, if you are here, if you're watching and you're part of the retail DAO, please say hi. Please say that you're a retail DAO because our logo or our mascot is the owl. So what is this? Okay, this is a token-gated community for serious retail investors. What do I mean by serious? By serious, I mean you care about research, you care about analysis, you care about theses. You're not just aping into whatever Ansem or Murad tells you. Though they are clowns, by the way. I think Ansem is still sidelined, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, they are clowns. I would never follow them. Instead, I would lean into the wisdom of the crowd, which is what this DAO is all about. Decentralized alpha, wisdom of the crowd, collective wisdom. That is what we're all about here. Now, you do need retail tokens to get in. And this is our deck screener page. Yeah, it's going up. It's still cheap, though. Point is, you can get in for 20,000 retail tokens, which is not that much money. It's like $8, if I'm not mistaken. And you can get it on Uniswap on Base. Right here, Base Uniswap. I don't want to focus on the price, and I don't want you guys to... oh, we have a lot of members from VIP member. Nice. Hello, hello. Proud to be a DAO. Retail DAO. Good luck. Retail. Yes, we will. But here's the thing. I don't want to focus on this chart because that's not important. I don't want a freaking whale to buy like thousands of dollars worth and pump this. You know why? Because they are just going to dump in the future and have a big candle down. Instead, we want small buys like you see here. Small buys, $10, $40, whatever. Not $60, $50. We want people to buy this, to use it, to join the community, to access, to find value within it, and to grow with us, right? To grow with us. We want the guppies. We want retail with us. We don't want... Yeah, great question. Liquidity isn't locked because the treasury wants flexibility, or the multi-sig wants flexibility to like make sure that the liquidity is managed properly in terms of like moving it to new points if the price gets out of hand, or like adding liquidity to support the price at various points. So good question though. It's all written in the DAO's governance forums and things like that. It's all public. This is a real DAO. There's no one leader. There's no CEO. There's no VC fundings. There's no VCs that will dump. But hence, This project grows slowly but steadily, brick by brick. That is how retail DAO grows. And if you want to join, you can find the link below to find more information. You just have to buy 20,000 worth of these tokens. It's really not that much money. It's like $8, especially in this bull market. The alpha you get in here, the community, the vibes, the discussion, the debate, it's going to be worth way more than that. But anyhow, let's get back into the bull market stuff and talk about ETH. Okay. So here's an interesting point for y'all. That strong ETH candle, that 20% candle, wasn't driven by ETF flows. There's actually been outflows instead. Hear that out. Consider that. It wasn't driven by ETF flows, which means crypto natives are stepping in. On-chain degens who were sidelined or skeptical are buying again. Some recent shifts at Ethereum Foundation, which I really love, I talked about it in previous streams, plus the Petra upgrade are restoring trust. The ETH identity crisis might be finally over. Direction feels right again. And here's the ETF data showing that there hasn't been that many flows. They're like barely outflows. The negative red numbers, there's been outflows, tiny bit of outflows, but a ton of on-chain flows to ETH. Right? So now what is there bullish about Petra? Well, Petra was the recent big update that happened very, very recently. And now ETH has flipped deflationary again as Petra drives a massive spike in network activity. 38K ETH burned, more transactions, fewer tokens, stronger fundamentals. So that is very bullish to see. Because if you remember, after the merge, ETH's narrative of ultrasound money died off pretty much because ETH became inflationary again. Now, can it maintain this? Not sure, but this is very bullish to see. Is contract re-announced? I believe someone in the DAO is working on that. That's a great question. If you're in the DAO, feel free to ask in general and follow along with the progress there. It's not me working on that, but I think someone else is working on that. Okay. Now, check this out. For those who like charts, this is a unique pattern that crushes sentiment with brutal drawdowns before exploding back with a V-shaped recovery. We've seen it with Tesla, Amazon, gold, and now it's ETH's turn. Here is ETH, and they're saying we're going to V-shape up to like 4,000, which would be crazy. This is the old chart even. We're already like back here. So imagine there was like a ETH yellow or green line right here. I mean, this is S&P. You also see this move kind of. Gold also down here and then now breakout. Tesla did this and broke out like crazy. And Amazon also did this back in like 2008 and then broke out. I mean, they don't match exactly, but it's the same rough pattern. And if this can do what Tesla did, then ETH is headed to like new all-time highs and whatnot. Okay. However, there is an interesting point though that people have been making. And that's the fact that when BTC hit 100K all these different times, ETH's price has been lower and lower each time around. Also here, price of BTC at these different dates, 100K, 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 and price of ETH has been down each time. Now ETH is up since then quite a bit, but still, it's something to consider. Can ETH really break out of this ETH-BTC trading view? Let me open this up for y'all. Huge candle, but if you zoom out, look at this ugly downtrend since 2022. This does look like quite the up move, but we've had other big moves before. Here, other big moves, and they didn't sustain. So can this really be the bottom in for ETH? We shall see. It's still early. Now, let's take a look at some of the people who are a little bit more hesitant right now, and a few reasons why. Give me a second. I'm pulling up a few charts for you. So one thing is here, right? Individual retail investors have been net buyers of equities, aka stocks, for 21 consecutive weeks, longest streak of records. On the other hand, hedge funds have sold and institutional clients have dumped. So tell me this, chat. When has retail been smarter than institutions, hedge funds, and things like that? That's rarely the case. And hence, that has me worried. Since when does retail get to win when Wall Street is selling, right? So if things go back down, then our short party may be just that, a short party. Here's another thing. Stocks have been on a good run, but they're still only back to where a bear market rally would begin to stall. The true test is getting back over 5,800. So this is S&P 500, right? So people are saying that there may be a divergence between crypto and stocks, but honestly, I doubt it. If this goes back down to new lows, crypto can't. It's too early. Bitcoin is not gold right now, right? It's too early for that, for Bitcoin to truly find a new identity. So I do think this is a potential bear case to keep in mind. Let's see, what is the S&P 500 index at right now? Yeah, it's not above the 5,800. And this trader argues to take some profit right now. Lots of overly bullish sentiment and running into larger resistance. Right here, you see, two hours ago, Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is at greed now. Now, it can stay at greed, and it can even go to extreme greed. So I'm not saying that this is over, but usually just like when it goes extreme fear for too long, things tend to recover. Also, when we're starting to get too greedy for too long, things tend to dip. That's just the nature of market psychology and the nature of markets. It has always been for history. Exactly. Retail investors, for the most part, were exit liquidity. That's something to worry about because retail has been net buyers for 21 consecutive weeks while others have been selling. And another trader argues that this is not the area to look for longs, likely to get scammy price action in the coming weeks, chopping and tricking people into giving up on the breakout. He is bullish in the midterm, be patient, long dips, but could chop and make us be like, oh, that was just a fake out, right? So it's still uncertain now. But another point is that maybe the best times to buy are when things are uncertain, and that when everything is certain, that may be too late, right? That's why I have deployed a little bit of my stable coins recently, but yeah, because we like Base. Base is easy to use. You can use MetaMask. XRP Ledger is probably super hard to use. I don't even know if anyone uses XRP Ledger, folks. But whoo, that was fun today. That was fun, guys. We covered so much. We looked at a bunch of different analysis, charts, people who got it right, people who got it wrong. We looked at like 12 different indicators all over the place, some on-chain, some charts, some macro. And we talked about alt season. We talked about ETH, which went crazy recently. And we need ETH to do well for the crypto space to do well. Do not forget that. If we want a broad-based alt season, we need ETH to do well. We can't have ETH die like some BTC maxis and Sol maxis want, okay? So that's that for today. Thank you for joining my streams. I hope y'all join Retail DAO. Link below. You only need 20,000 retail tokens, which is like 8 USD, and you're in. Just join the Discord, follow the token gating process. It takes a second. I hope to see y'all in there. If you do join Retail DAO, say hi in the general chat, say GM, say hello, say hi, and I'll say hi back to you. Please give this stream a like. I am bullish on Sui too. I would just buy spot. And you don't need to type this like 20 times, let's see. Yeah, I would just hold spot. Hold it back and just wait. I like it. I'm bullish on Sui. All right, hope y'all can give this stream a like, and I will catch y'all on the next time, usually 12 noon Eastern time, weekdays. Have a good weekend, folks. Let's be bullish. Bull market's back potentially, and retail DAOs are here as well. Cheers, folks.